Yo, it is I, your sadistic spirit guide, Yokai Poppy Wolf, back with another episode of My Hero Academia, one step at a time. Let's jump right into it, shall we? So this episode this week was honestly pretty cool. It was interesting enough I didn't know what we were going to expect out of this episode. The beginning of it seemed interesting with the whole Hawks reporting to the Liberation Squad, or whatever they call it, the Freedom of Liberation, whatever. They're the villains. And it seems like he's been overhearing stuff. He's been undercover, and he's been gathering an immense full amount of information about what they're doing. And it finds out that the message that he encoded for Endeavor is very much that in 4 months the villains are going to make their move, and that in order to keep the public safe, or even just the insurance plan, is the trainees, the heroes in the UA, the kids in the work study program. That the reason why they brought it back isn't because it's just beneficial, but they brought it back for the reason that if the villains or anybody of the sort start making a ruckus, and God forbid there's not enough heroes, they have enough hero support from all the newbies, the rookies, the licensed heroes, or the high school licensed heroes, which is a big gamble on the government's part, because if you have to rely on like children as the backup plan, that's a little intense, don't you think? And Endeavor seems to think so. He doesn't like the idea of trusting the kids too much, not because you can't trust them, but because they shouldn't have to carry that weight, essentially that weight of like in 4 months possibly the whole world is gonna be, or at least Japan at the very least, is gonna get attacked, or it's gonna, something big's happening. Like, again, it's just like knowing, like, I'm not gonna send people who just joined in the military into like war. They haven't really experienced it. Hell, they haven't even got enough experience of regular duty to even prepare for something of this magnitude. And I think that's what Endeavor is worried about, and that's why this episode really shines the most, is how much of a mentor Endeavor's truly being for the three heroes. It's a big thing that, of course, he took Shoto. Of anything, of course, he was going to take Shoto, of course, as his son. But for him to take on Bakugo, the one who won the contest, and Deku, who challenged his son and is very much All Might's successor, he's just thinking, you know what, if I gotta get these kids ready, and they need to know, like, off the bat. And he really does it. I'm really surprised for Endeavor. He lets them know, like, the most calculative mindset ever. And I love how even with the most calculative mindset, he's still able to understand Deku explaining every statistics of how he uses his power, how he uses percentages, and how he factors everything into consideration of the amount of output he's putting. And then I like how Endeavor is able to decipher that and go, okay, so this is how much okay, I got what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I know what you want to do. And he really does teach a lot of people everything. Seeing him teach Bakugo and Todoroki like closer on hand is interesting, because I feel like if anyone should have been Bakugo's teacher, it would make sense that it was Endeavor. They have fire style quirks, explosion, nitroglycerin, and all that. It's basically fire. It's an explosion. Explosions use fires and flames. Todoroki, of course, Shoto uses ice and fire. Those are his quirks. He has a mixed quirk. He has 2 quirks, and it's 2 quirks. And then Deku, I feel like Endeavor, he knows how to teach him, but it's the most simplistic way. While with it's more internally, it's more understand, like, look, eventually you have to be able to do you're eventually trying to accumulate to the point where you can do everything without thinking, but you have to be able to slowly get there. With Bakugo, it's like, Bakugo, like, you need to understand, like, you're limiting yourself. You need to understand, like, you can't make excuses for yourself. Yes, the weather changes are bad, but guess what? You need to be able to control your output, and like being able to do basically you need to be putting your output so much high that you get used to it, that much output doesn't wear you down, or you don't have to do short bursts. With Shoto, it's Shoto. You need to start using your flames like your ice. Like, you're able to create and make amazing things with your ice. You can do that with your fire too. There's no reason you can't be able to do that with your fire, which made me think, that's crazy. But if you can make like a castle of flames or something like that, I don't know. But it is interesting to hear that. It is interesting to see all that, and it's interesting to like really play with those ideas of like, damn, like, you know, I never really thought about it like that. And he shows them why it's an important thing to consider. He goes, look, you know what I do with my flames? I keep people at bay. I'm able to limit the routes that these, you know, that the villains take or anybody takes, because not because I'm trying to, like, you know, corner them, but because I know where everything's at. I know where the heavy populated areas are at. I know the corners, the shortcuts, and my job is to keep everyone safe. Like, I have to keep the people safe, I have to keep the damage to a minimal, and I have to be able to catch the villain. And it's just like, dang, like Endeavor, like you think about the like, not the science of it, but you think of like the like, you know, the practicality of how he practices everything. You see it in action, and you're kind of like, wow, he's not lying. Like, he really knows what he's talking about. It's really cool. I really like the fact that when it comes to Endeavor, well, for All Might, he's someone who's he takes this into consideration all the time when he was a hero. For Endeavor to put it into practice and to teach this to, you know, the three new up and comers, I would even call them the future big three, is amazing. And hell, even Hawks is in on the plan of teaching the next generation. The fact that he took Tsukiyomi in, our boy Tokiyami, he's so proud of him, and he's so, like, again, he takes a liking to Tokiyami because Tokiyami is a bird, of course, and he wants to work with people who are birds. But at the same time, too, he sees something in Tokiyami. He sees someone who tries hard and wants to, you know, achieve great things. And the Hawks, he's never had to, like, inspired by the younger generation. But this is the first time he's ever, like, thinking, oh, that's cool. You know, I like the fact that you try. I like the fact that you're improving. Hell, he even said, bro, birds fly, so learn how to fly. And then now he flies because of Dark Shadow. Bro, everyone's putting their faith in the next generation. It's out here. It reminds me of the movie, The Next Avengers, that one animated movie where all the Avenger kids team up together to be Ultron. That's what it literally reminds me of. It's just like, bro, we gotta train these kids to the point where they can take their fucking, they can beat the bad that beat their parents. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the first generation falls, the next generation's there to pick up the mantle and, you know, fight and win the fight. Yeah, exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make. It's so good. It's so interesting. I love the training aspect of it. I love how he has an individual, like, conversation of what they need to work on and from what he sees. And it's just cool. It's like seeing Endeavor in a new light. And I understand a lot of people still kind of feel some type of way about Endeavor, but you kind of have to give it to him when it comes to being a hero. He is not the worst hero ever. He's pretty fucking amazing, being able to, like, think about all this stuff and being able to factor all that in while fighting. So you have to think about that. Not only is he fighting these big bads, like some villains that are, like, probably pretty strong, but he factors in everything around that. That parallel processing thing really does play into effect, especially when he breaks it down in the car metaphor of the acceleration, the driving, the coordination, the braking. Like, he really does put it into perspective. Like, no, like, everyone does in a way some sort of parallel processing. It's just, you have to take a step at a time, and then eventually you can do everything and tangent together. And it's pretty badass. Like, you gotta think about it. I'm here thinking, like, you know what, maybe Endeavor, like, shit, maybe there's a reason why Endeavor truly is the #1 hero. But yeah, guys, this is actually a pretty solid episode. I'm gonna give it like a B. It was an 8 out of 10 episode. I didn't hate, like, there's nothing in it that was kind of boring. There's stuff that you want to see more of, but seeing Endeavor play this mentor role is something that really highlights this episode, along with seeing how he kind of just puts into perspective how everyone should be using their power and how they should slowly grow. It's great to see mentor Endeavor and see how he's gonna further advance all our favorite heroes, and hopefully we get to see how everybody else advances too. But that's gonna be it for me. It is your boy Poppy Wolf, the sadistic spirit guide yokai, saying peace out, peace and love, and adios.